the perfect model for playing the violin, I suppose, would be we could play 12 hours a day and nothing would hurt. But, you know, at least with the vibrato, we can try to train in some of this correct. Yeah.
Well, you know, I think it's so much what you said at the beginning is it's about relaxation of the kid. I mean, the kids who are relaxed and shift and just get around have no problem with vibrato, and that's, I think, for me, what makes it so much more challenging.
Yeah.
The kids who are tight or have a kind of weird left-hand position or clench or all the myriad of things,
No, it's
right?
true.
Then it's kind of like, and I think that's what's so hard is sometimes maybe it's not even the vibrato, you know. I mean,
Well, that was why I was
can't
talking
even get
about
there.
the requisite skills earlier, because I would not want to take someone that was in that sort of a claw position and try to teach something like vibrato, but once some progress is made here, then the vibrato can help free it.
And I have been known to hold that out as a carrot.
Yeah, yeah.
We'll do vibrato when you get your shifting going.
Right. So shifting, like, so I'm just thinking, so shifting is basically open, close the elbow, and if you do arm vibrato, that's open and close the elbow, and that's the same motion, and you make it smaller, and it's done, and the kids who are relaxed, they got, you know, they're on the next thing. But the kids who are like shifting and like twisting and whatever we see all the time, then it's like, uh-oh. So, yeah, you hold it out, but then I feel like they want to try it in school, everyone's doing it. They can't hear how bad it sounds because everyone's doing it together, you know, so.
Well, if all the lemmings run over the cliff, are they gonna run over
That's the hard point where you feel like.
Probably.
But,
Can I share this little guy?
Please.
So I use this, I
Oh,
put
it's
it right on top and I have them do like exercises like pet the mouse, like they get their hands,
Yeah,
and it keeps the shape
Yeah.
so they're not like trying to do all.
it's just friendlier than the egg, isn't it?
Oh,
Oh,
maybe.
maybe you weren't here when we were talking
I
about
missed
the egg in
it.
here.
Yeah.
No, no, it's good, I love it, it's very cute.
Well, right now.
it matches your sweater.
Ties
in with the last.
I start them like getting the shape and then I have the vibrato start to work on petting them.
That's cute. I can ask you later, or if anybody else didn't understand the 1, 2, 3 pattern sequence page, I would like to hear about that when you have time, either.
That was what you said.
That's what you were gonna
Okay.
scan.
I'm
Okay,
sorry,
okay.
say again?
When you were doing the sequence, I just.
You said there was a page of patterns that you didn't have, Maria.
Yeah.
Oh,
The rhythm
yeah.
patterns.
Yeah, the rhythms of 2 notes would be long, short, long, or short, long, short, long. Rhythms of 3 notes, rhythms of 4 notes, and it's only a question of displacing the long note.
Okay.
So
Thank
it's either
you.
first,
Yeah.
second, or third, or first, second, third, or fourth.
Right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I had a student ask me, an advanced student who has a beautiful vibrato, at her lesson, she said, is there anybody who has a perfect vibrato?
I love it.
What do you mean? She goes, well, that they can do it on every single note. I said, she's playing stops. I said, you mean even on the, I mean, that would be amazing. So, well, I wouldn't worry about that. But then her kind of a corollary question was, what about on tremolo? She goes, you know, I was doing vibrato on tremolo and I looked around in orchestra and nobody else was doing it, so I felt kind of foolish and I stopped. I said, I have heard Joseph Silverstein say he does vibrato on tremolo.
Oh,
That is
interesting.
okay.
Yeah.
But I was sort of curious if anybody else does vibrato and tremolo.
Yes.
Yeah, I do.
Never heard of it.
It's supposed to get, it gives you more like a shinier sound.
Yeah.
Silver sound.
But I bet it's not a wide vibrato, right? So is it in the
Right,
shimmer
'cause it's a
department?
coordination thing. I know.
Because it helps
They
your
kinda
right hand
cancel
to
each
not
other
have
out.
to
Yeah.
hard.
That's right, and they look like the same thing.
Oh,
Well, Martha Katz always talks about giggling fingers, which I feel like I didn't understand my entire undergrad, but now I feel like I sort of get it. But just, I think what she's talking about is that sort of impulse, like right when you put your finger down. It's sort of that like immediate little bit. So I feel like with that, like when you talk about, you know, like 16th notes or whatever in Sama, it's like you don't really vibrate every note, but you do. Your fingers are sort of alive. They're energetic.
Well, you know, that's interesting, because I'll have students who say, you know, you have this melodic line of 16th notes and it sounds kind of studenty, but if you just put a little shimmer.
Yeah.
You just say like pretend to vibrate.
I
and
no, I
sometimes-
don't. I just say put a little shimmer.
Yeah.
Honestly,
Yeah.
I really skirt it,
Right.
and they all do it.
Yeah, Jamie Laredo said that too, because then that connects the phrase as well
Yes.
better.
Exactly.
So that's why he let it.
warms it up.
Yeah.
Alex is going to be so happy that she asked this question.
No, but you know, the thing is, you know, it depends on what language you've used, but again, I would predicate the ability to do that on having things relaxed and having the motion terrain. if you ask them to do that kind of shimmery thing or something fancy, and they're really rock hard, and they're just locked into problems, it probably isn't gonna work.
Mhm.
So, you know, that's what this is.
Can I ask a
Really
question
predicated on.
of everyone? Do you guys teach vibrato with a metronome?
Yes.
The beginning.
Yeah, because I do too, and I didn't hear you say that, and I just wondered if there was a.
That's in the
Didn't do
this increasing pulses per bow, so it's
Oh, okay.
D.
But do you actually have the metronome on? Okay.
D
missed that.
E D da da D da dee da, and I usually start them at about 56. So it says a half note, 2 half notes per bar at 56, and then at some point, if the hand is free, it's going to just take off. It lets go, and they should not repress it. That's when.
Because I found without a metronome, they're not so even as they often think they are.
That's right. It keeps them honest.
Yeah.
You're right.
Like all of
Yeah.
There's somebody, an article I read somewhere where they suggest doing, I do apple, blueberry, Mississippi's, 8 notes, triple
Oh,
60
yeah,
is
yeah.
basically. But if you start them at 60 and then tell them that the goal is to be able to do this at 92, and all of a sudden you've just gone 50% faster. But it's like I'll give them 3 speeds a week.
Mhm.
This week you're gonna do 60, 63, and 66. And, I mean, I just tell them, you know, the metronome is just the regulation, otherwise they won't know. Or they'll go faster and they won't realize it.
What was the pattern you did?
Well,
Apple, blueberry,
Apple,
Mississippi.
blueberry, Mississippi.
At each of the speeds, you do.
Yeah.
Okay.
Each finger,
Interesting.
turn the metronome up 1 notch, back when they had
Apple,
notches.
blueberry, Mississippi.
No chocolate, huh?
Is that what you use?
No.
Can't do that fast enough.
Sometimes I think they're being even and they're not, so I make them practice with their eyes closed.
Well, the other thing is you can do scales with the metronome with these same bow divisions. So these practice rhythms also import to scale practice, to any kind of, and the rhythms import to any kind of drilling, woodshedding for passage work. So that what presents as a vibrato page is actually a lot of other applicable, you know, skills that are applicable in our areas.
I so remember being almost in 7th grade and going to gypso camp and having the conductor say something about vibrato and going to the coach because I was afraid they were going to send me home. Because I didn't have it. And playing viola, that was not an obstacle, it still isn't. So I really appreciate some of your phrases of discussing this with sentences
Well,
to use.
That's good to hear, John. I appreciate hearing that back, but I also, you know, I feel like I love this cross fertilization because, you know, I was working on this a couple of times this week and refining it and thinking, what do I want to talk about? And, you know, I left out things. So and you all ask questions that actually raise those things. So if I maintain enough presence of mind, I'll go home and fix this, you know.
Well, Maria, if you want to send me that other page,
Yeah.
that's great. We have had this ongoing dream of having evidence of these talks be on the website
Uh-huh.
for ASTA, and they were for a while, and I'll be bringing it up again.
Yeah.
I wonder if you would be willing, would it be worth posting your notes? Or I'll see how the video comes out. Which,
Yeah, okay.
yeah,
Well,
it's
I would
really
certainly
cool.
wanna probably add
Maybe
in
one-
what
yeah.
we discussed today. I don't mind. You know, that's fine. But, yeah, whatever.
Can I ask one more thing?
Yeah.
Do you ever run into difficulty with, beginners, that are becoming intermediate and you're starting to teach them vibrato and the first finger, you were mentioning to Emily that this shouldn't be locked in, right?
Yeah.
But they're so used to having that contact, especially like Suzuki beginners.
Oh, yeah.
What do you do because when they're doing it in third position, it's easy to sort of visualize that it won't be locked, but when you go
Yeah.
back to first,
No, it's a
seems
great
to
point,
always
but
be-
that goes back to the idea of readiness would include a left-hand position that's easy, that is not having this parked in here like a
Yeah.
shelf, because the
Okay.
violin really doesn't want to rest on it.
Right.
But they often will accept very nicely that there's a sort of a comfortable V in the neck, you can catch it up
Mhm.
here, and that somehow can help.
Okay.
Sure.